Hey guys, it's Dr. Justin Marcagiani here. Welcome to another live Q&A. Today we're doing it on a Thursday, so really excited to hit up some of your questions here. What's on your mind? Feel free and let me know. So off the bat, I started an article in Reuters yesterday looking at a correlation between infertility and fast food consumption. Really interesting. If you had, I think, was it 3 to 4 times of fast food a week, it doubled your chance of infertility. So they found people that didn't eat fast food, they had, I think, an 8% likelihood of infertility. And then if you ate fast food 3 to 4 times a week, it was a 16%. So you basically doubled your risk factor of infertility. Now, the question is why? Now, a lot of conventional people, they'll say, well, it's the saturated fat, right? I would go a little bit deeper. I would say, number one, it's probably a lot of sugar, right? Think about it. If you're eating fast food, what are you consuming? You're probably consuming a lot of the French fries. You're probably consuming a lot of the soft drinks as well. It's very rare that someone's not getting a soft drink and some French fries. That's number one. Number two, you're getting some junky fats because we're getting a lot of the trans fats from the soybean oil that's cooking a lot of the French fries. That's number two. Number three, you're getting a lot of meat that's going to be not the best quality of meat. You're going to get a lot of meat that has hormones in it. You're going to get a lot of meat that has a lot of potentially fed with antibiotics, and the animals probably ate a lot of pesticide-laden, Roundup kind of laden, GMO type of foods. So I would look at it if I were to say, why is this fast food driving or doubling your risk of infertility? I would say one, sugar. I would say two, junky bad fats. Number three, I would say bad, really, really bad meat from the antibiotics, the hormones, and the pesticides, to keep it simple. All right, let me keep on rolling here. I read recently that your health, or at least that the health of your body in conception can determine the health of your child's future. Crazy. Yeah, I totally agree. Epigenetic switches get turned on, during pregnancy. So eating really good, managing stress, managing sleep, managing inflammation have a huge effect on the epigenome. And then also once your kid's born, the quality of food the mother eats is going to really determine the quality of the breast milk. So breast milk's huge. It's constantly changing. There's a two-way valve between the breast and the baby. So it's constantly spitting out stem cells, spitting out homemade or natural antibodies to support the child's immune system, lots of growth factors, and it's responding to what's in the child's environment. So pretty amazing. You could never do that with formula ever. But again, you only can give what you got. So if you're not eating good food, drinking clean fluids, then you're not going to be able to make as good of a quality of breast milk as someone that's really on track. All right, let's roll here. Dr. J, any tips on quick recovery from muscle strains? So muscle strain, you're kind of like a micro tear of the muscle fibers. I mean, off the bat, of course, amino acids, because that's building block for protein. So amino acids, free form amino acids are great. It could be amino acids from pea protein or even clean whey protein if you can tolerate it. I would say also collagen amino acids, because collagen, those amino acids are going to be really helpful for the tendons and the ligaments and the connective tissue, not just the actual muscle. I think it'll help it on both sides of the fence. Hey, Max. Thanks for the hello from Ukraine here. Any other question, guys, let me know. Today's going to be a short Q&A. I'm going to jump off onto a patient call here in just a minute. I had a quick little gap in my schedule, so I thought I'd just jump on here and say hi to everyone. What else? What else is going on? The big thing I want to just highlight is the food quality. Nutrient quality is super, super important to everything. So we see it with epigenetics, with children. We see it with fertility, right? We see it with fertility with this study I mentioned that was published in Reuters looking at the doubling of infertility with fast food consumption. Let's see here. Rob writes in, Dr. J, doing a lot of dieting, high fat, low carb, paleo, but my ankylosing spondylitis doesn't go away. I don't eat sugar, carbs, bad fats, or anything. What should I do? Well, ankylosing spondylitis, AS for short, is an autoimmune condition. I mean, you're going to see increases of the HLA-B27 marker in your bloodstream. The first thing I would do is I would get on an autoimmune template. I would cut out the nut seeds, nightshades, and eggs, grain, legume-free, dairy-free. I would start with that. Of course, you can add in extra anti-inflammatory herbs like curcumin, liposomal curcumin, and extra collagen. I sell a couple of those in my online store, justinhealth.com/shop. That would be a good option for you to start. Ankylosing spondylitis also has a correlation with Klebsiella bacterial overgrowth. So I would look at the gut and go deeper down the line as well. Let's see here. Ask Frester writes, in our muscle and joint pain, typical symptoms of Hashimoto's. I'm eating 4,000 calories a day and I'm still hungry. So off the bat, I would say, I mean, anytime you have an autoimmune condition, you're going to be predisposed for inflammation. So the more inflamed you are, yeah, it's going to be easier for you to have aches and pains and those things, right? So of course, if you're eating that many calories, the first thing is make sure you're adding an HCl and enzyme so you're breaking them down. Number two, how does your stool look? Do you see a lot of undigested food particles? Do your stools sink or float? If they float, there's probably some maldigestion of fat in there. And I would look at the gut to make sure the gut's doing well. Hey, Spivey, hope you're doing well. Charlie writes in, how can you improve neuromuscular fatigue from working out over time? That improves over time as weights get heavier. Well, number one is just neurological conditioning, right? A new movement off the bat will take more neurological input, more muscles, more stabilizers. The better you get from a training standpoint, the better that will get. Number two, creatine, amino acids are going to be helpful. Those would be the best things. And of course, the sleep and don't overtrain. Make sure if you're kind of easing into it, make sure you feel energized with your workouts and you're recovering well. Make sure you're not overdoing it, especially newer, more complex movements. If you're not used to lunging or doing a deadlift or something like that, it may be a lot harder on your nervous system. Tim writes in, I do house lessons every time I go to this person's basement. My throat gets inflamed. I'm pretty sure it's mold. What would you recommend besides not going? So that's a great question. So number one is you could do some activated charcoal before you go. You could also do some glutathione before you go as well. And then you could also do it afterwards. Those would be the big things I would do. I'd also recommend seeing if you can get the lesson outside of the basement and move it upstairs where there's better circulation or ventilation. Any thoughts about mycobacterium chimeras and cardiac surgery and how to test for it? I'm not sure. I mean, mycobacterium, is this coming from the surgery? Is this a person that already has it? Of course, there's various herbs you can do to help treat mycobacteria. You could always do like a silver kind of compound, or you can do high dose berberines, cat's claw. You can do medicinal mushrooms like cordyceps. These are really helpful against mycobacterium too. Excellent. Oliver writes in, oh man, I got a lot of messages here. If my nephew has an ear infection, what do you recommend naturally? Her mom keeps giving him antibiotics and it just keeps coming back as expected. He's 2 years old. First thing I would do is clean up the diet, clean up the sugar, clean up the gluten, clean up the dairy. You do that, you will stop ear infections in their track. You can also do, there's a compound called citracidal. You can put it in his ear or her ear. You can also do a half and half hydrogen peroxide, 3% solution, put it in the ear, let it bubble up, and then you can dump it out once it's fully bubbled. But that's super helpful. But you got to make the diet change and of course get them on probiotics too. I don't eat none of those, just eggs, but doesn't make a difference. Well, I would go on autoimmune diet and I would look at the gut because Klebsiella is a big connection with the ankylosing spondylitis. Gabe writes, once my child has gone through breast milk stage and formula stage, you suggest dairy next? It's a great question. If so, what type of dairy would you recommend? So off the bat, I'd be careful. I'd make sure I would try to breastfeed for at least the first year of life, maybe not exclusively. World Health Organization recommends 1.5 years. I think it's really important. Even if you don't do it full time, you can do it, morning and night or just nighttime before bed, but having a little bit in there will be helpful. I would be careful with the dairy. Initially, I'd wait till closer to 9 months to a year before you introduce that. And you can start with ghee first, see how you do with ghee. You can even just put it on some of maybe the cut up vegetables that they may eat. We do a lot of baby-led weaning with our child, and we've avoided dairy. We've noticed, I think it's egg yolks and bananas cause eczema with him. So we keep a food log and we only add one food at a time and we keep a log. So if we notice any eczema, pull that food out. Let's see here. Man with the map, I'm traveling to Africa. What can I do instead of taking recommended vaccines and anti-malarial mess? You could do wormwood. You can bring high dose wormwood. Wormwood's been used for a long time to treat malaria. I would do wormwood. Let's see here. Max writes in, due to my bad diet, I have fatigue, emotional issues for almost a year, and bell sounds in my ear, especially at nighttime. It seems like it's related to my body tension. Well, first off, I would get on a good paleo template or even an autoimmune template to start to really cut down the inflammation and see how much improves, Max. James writes in, Dr. J, is 1 month of GI Clear 1, 2, and 5 enough to kill H. pylori? That's a pretty good whack right there. I would also throw in some good probiotics. We would do ProBioflora and Sacroflora to follow it up because those probiotics are very helpful at knocking down H. pylori too, and that retest. Let's see, Max writes in tips. I think I answered your question, Max. Hey, Spivey. Charlie writes in, have you had patients clear out H. pylori in 30 days? I have. I typically recommend 60 just to make sure that you knock it down. You're welcome, Max, on the ginger tea. Glad you like it. Glad you like it. Any last questions, guys? I got to run to a patient. Anything else? Let me know. What's cooking, guys? Anything else? And I'm doing my Thyroid Summit tomorrow. So if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe at thyroidresetsummit.com. There's links right below in the description. Click that, sign up. I appreciate it. Give us a share. Give us a share. Give us a thumbs up. Sharing is caring. What's for lunch? We have, let's see here. We have chicken breast and we have not a pecan. What is it? It's one of those nuts. It's one of the sweeter nuts. It's like a nut-based pesto. It's a nut-based pesto sauce that we glaze over it, and then we bake that, and it's chicken thighs. So that's a phenomenal little meal we do weekly. We absolutely love it. And then some veggies. What would you recommend for antipsychotic-induced dysphoria? What is that? I'm going to have to throw that into Google real quick. Antipsychotic-induced dysphoria. I'm going to imagine, is that like a psychosis induced by medication? Is that what that is? Atypical. Yeah. So you have to give me a little more info on that. I'm not sure with that terminology. What is the story? What is your story and past health battle experiences? I had mild Hashimoto's. I had a lot of adrenal fatigue growing up and a lot of blood sugar issues. So I was able to, knock out some infections, fix my adrenal issues, keep my Hashimoto's under control, keep my autoimmune condition under wraps. And that's made a huge difference in my health. I have a little bit of atopic dermatitis right now, right in my middle of my forehead and here. I was rubbing some stuff on my face last month and it's flared and it's coming down. So I'm doing some natural herbs to kind of knock it down so I don't have to go to the conventional stuff. I'm going to do a little bit of coconut oil probably starting this weekend. So those are my little health battles, but you learn so much and you get better. Depression caused by antipsychotics. Yeah. So, I would fix the root cause of the depression. I doubt the depression was, I doubt the original reason why you went on those medications. It's fixing a deficiency, right? So you have to fix the underlying issue. So there's typically a food diet issue, a digestion issue, the gut brain connection is really important. The food brain connection is really important. So I'd work on that too, get the diet right, get the gut right. Need to dig deeper, let me know. How long did it take me to recover? It took me, I would say, a good year, but I saw improvement off the bat. I saw improvement kind of, 5% each month, getting better. And then, you really lock it in by having good, healthy diet and lifestyle habits. Been doing OMAD in the evening. Not sure what OMAD means for a while, but I'm confused. Should I take vitamin D since it can disrupt melatonin production, but also fat soluble? Any suggestions? I would do vitamin D in the morning just to be on the safe side. Think about it, right? Vitamin D is made by the sun. So if you're putting a whole bunch of vitamin D in your body, it would typically happen from sunlight, right? So we want to do it probably more in the morning time to simulate what would happen in nature. Hope that helps, guys. One meal a day. Yeah, I don't recommend one meal a day. I think it's pretty difficult to get all the calories and nutrition that you need in one meal. I think it's nearly impossible. If you're a guy and you need 2,000 calories a day, good luck getting 2,000 calories in one meal. My sister was recently diagnosed with Hashimoto's. Is around the family? Yes, there's a genetic predisposition there. What to check for? TPO antibodies and thyroglobulin antibodies as well. And then Alamo, anytime, any recommendations for summertime blues? Well, typically, getting the sunlight is going to be a big one. That's why blues in the wintertime is so common. So I would get a little bit of sunlight, get a little bit of movement. That'd be my first recommendation outside of all the functional medicine stuff. Hope that helps, y'all. Great chatting. I'll be doing some Thyroid Reset Summit interviews tomorrow. I may pop on for a live, so stay tuned and have a phenomenal Thursday and stay cool. Take care. Bye.